So what I'm doing now is I'm actually using crayons, and I'm using crayons to trace on the lines so that none of them get covered up when I actually move on to painting this. The lines make it look more like me, so if they get hidden, if people can't see them when they're looking at it later, then it's going to look a lot less like me than when I started out my drawing. Now I dug and dug through my crayons. I did not find a color called Mr. Bazin's Skin. So what I'm doing is I'm just using this orange. I felt like, well, this is close enough for now. But what I'm going to do later when I'm using the paint, you guys know that if we add more water to our paint, that would make the color lighter. If I add more paint and use less water, that would make the color, yes, it would make it darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use a color that's kind of close to what I want. And then when I paint this, I'll move on to actually making the paint look the way I want. So anything that is supposed to be the same color as my skin, I'm going to go ahead and trace with this crayon. Even though I'm holding crayon right now, should I color it in? No, I'm going to wait and I'm going to hold off and I'm going to use paint to actually add the color effect later. So I'm tracing everything to make sure that it's going to show up through my paint. Some of you that have lots of hair, maybe you even have bows or ribbons in your hair right now, it might take you a little bit longer than some of the rest of us to trace this. So you're going to do this in your own time. So then I can switch to black for the pupil. This is just a little dot, so this I am going to fill in. And then I'm going to put on my eyebrows. Now you'll notice when you're looking at my drawing, because I'm going over certain parts of it with the crayon, those lines have color. Now we can see those really well, and that's what we want people to do. We want them to be able to see our artwork very well. The lines that I haven't traced over with the crayon, those aren't showing up so good. They're harder to see, harder to notice. So, you'll notice right now it even looks like Mr. Bazin isn't wearing his glasses. Well, that's because I haven't traced over them with the crayon yet. As soon as I do that, that quality of line changes. It becomes what we call visually heavy. It has more visual weight to it. That doesn't mean I can't lift up my paper because it's getting too heavy. What that means is my eye is drawn to it more. I'm going to look at the lines that are thicker, heavier, and darker and have color, but I'm not going to look at the thin ones. Now, when I did that, it overlapped my eyebrow. So I'm just going to put this one back on there, and then I'm going to bring this one up higher just to make it match so we can still see that. Yeah, that looks a lot more like me. Before I started recording, I actually went ahead and got a head start. I traced my shirt. I'm wearing a blue shirt today. So this means later when I paint, my plan is to actually paint my shirt blue. So I've gone ahead, I've already done some things to make it so that this will be ready for me to paint. So I already have my color plan.